The most terrifying supersonic bomber of the USAF, codename the Bone. Although it continues to fly, the B-1B Lancer bomber's time is almost up. The aging Bone is operating with a limited runway. There's a reasonable description of the condition of the B-1B Lancer strategic bomber, an aircraft that almost didn't exist but ended up being essential to the United States Air Force. Hey guys, welcome to our channel, Future Warplanes, where we tell you about military fighter jets, military drones, and military planes from the currently famous in the air to the most advanced around the world. So stay with us till the end of this video so you don't miss out on any of this information. And before we proceed, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our amazing videos in the future. And let's dive in! Time has taken its toll on the airframes, and the B-1 will be decommissioned as the B-21 Raider enters service later this decade, after serving as the service's workhorse during the global war on terror. A fleet of 45 aircraft, which will serve until the new B-21 stealth bombers ready for duty, was left behind when the last of the 17 B-1B bombers from the Air Force Global Strike Command's inventory were retired just over a year ago. The heavy operational deployments in the Middle East between 2001 and 2014 left the B-1s in poor shape, according to reports. As a result, lawmakers in Washington have mandated that the Air Force keep its current aircraft in service. Additionally, the 2022 National Defense Authorization Act forbade the service from eliminating people from the units that manage or preserve warbirds from the Cold War. In the upcoming 10 years, the B-1 will likely be phased out. Back when the Boeing B-52 Stratofortress was the king of the sky and conducted combat operations over the jungles of Vietnam, the variable sweep-wing bomber was created to execute high-speed, low-altitude penetration missions. The Lancer, often known as the Bone because of its B-1 designation, had its first flight in December 1974. It represented a significant advancement in aviation design at the time, and despite being smaller than the Stratofortress, it was able to travel farther and faster while carrying twice as many weapons thanks to its high-lift, variable sweep wing. The expense of the airplane, however, was its first significant foe. Jimmy Carter, the newly elected president, decided to halt the program in June 1977 in favor of ground-based ICBMs and submarine-launched ballistic missiles due to concerns about the program's exorbitant cost. The Advanced Technology Bomber Project, which resulted in the creation of the B-2 Spirit, the first real stealth bomber, was also authorized by President Carter, but this was not known at the time. 4 Rockwell International B-1As were still constructed and utilized for flight testing after the Carter administration canceled it, with the final flight occurring in April 1981. In October of the same year, less than 6 months later, President Ronald Reagan brought the B-1B program back to life. On October 18, 1984, the upgraded version took flight for the first time. The bomber had a range of more than 7,000 miles and could fly at an altitude of 60,000 feet. Given the Soviet Union's aggressive behavior in the early 1980s, particularly in its invasion of Afghanistan, it was seen to be the ideal bomber for the job. Following this, the U.S. Air Force placed an order for 100 B-1Bs in 1982. The first B-1B was then delivered to the Air Force at Edwards Air Force Base, California, in October of '84, barely 33 months after the contract was approved. Just 1 year before President Reagan's second term came to an end, on January 20, 1988, the final Rockwell B-1B rolled out of final assembly in Palmdale, California. The Bone set 61 world records for speed, payload, and distance during the course of its career. The B-1B was additionally honored by the National Aeronautic Association for successfully accomplishing one of the top 10 most noteworthy record flights in 1994. The B-1 was initially intended to have nuclear capabilities, but as part of the Conventional Mission Upgrade program, the aircraft were only converted to a conventional combat mission by the mid-1990s. The $3 billion refit, which included removing nuclear arming and fusing hardware, was ordered by President George H.W. Bush as a result of the fall of the Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War, and additional modifications were needed to comply with New START treaty requirements to prevent nuclear weapon pylons from being attached to the aircraft. In order to ensure conformity, Russian officials were even permitted to view the aircraft once a year after the conversion procedure was finished in 2011. A series of upgrades were made as part of the Conventional Upgrade Program. Block C, which was finished in 1997, enabled the aircraft to drop cluster bombs. Block D, which was finished in June 2001, deployed the JDAM defense system and added new navigation and communication systems. And Block E, which was finished in September 2006, enabled the deployment of joint standoff weapons and joint air-to-air surface standoff missiles. The Defensive System Upgrade Program and another Block F were terminated. Surprisingly, the B-1 only made its first combat appearance in December 1998 during Operation Desert Fox, when the Lancer successfully breached Iraqi air defenses to bomb Republican Guard camps, despite the fact that the aircraft was initially intended to attack deep-lying Soviet cities. That first mission proved the B-1B's capacity to function in a conventional role and as part of a force package. The Northrop Grumman B-21 Raiders expected to enter service in the 2030s, but the Air Force has been updating and modernizing the venerable warbird ever since it entered service in the 1980s. The B-1B Lancer fleet has been used by the Air Force in numerous sorties since it was converted to a standard bomber. During Operation Allied Force in 1996, 6 B-1s took part in just 2% of the strike missions, but they dropped 20% of the ordnance. Similarly, during Operation Enduring Freedom, B-1s took part in just 2% of the sorties but dropped more than 40% of the precise weapons. Since 2001, B-1s have been used almost continually in combat operations over Afghanistan and Iraq, putting a lot of miles on the aged aircraft. In a nutshell, they completed the task unlike any other aircraft. The B-1B is not currently equipped with nuclear weapons, although it is still able to transport the AGM-86B air-launched cruise missile and the AGM-69 short-range assault missile. The B-1s have 3 internal weapon bays and 6 exterior hardpoints over the fuselage. The maximum internal weapon payload is 75,000 pounds, and the maximum external weapon payload is 59,000 pounds for each aircraft. 4 General Electric F101 GE 102 turbofan engines with afterburners make up the power plant, and max speeds up to 900 miles per hour, which is Mach 1.2 at sea level. Long range, high speed, and maneuverability are all made possible by the B-1B's blended wing body configuration, variable geometry wings, and turbofan afterburning engines, which all increase survivability. For takeoff, landing, air refueling, and in some high-altitude weapon employment circumstances, forward wing settings are used. High subsonic and supersonic flight often employs aft wing sweep settings, the main combat configuration, which improves the B-1B's maneuverability in the low and high-altitude regimes. Due to its speed and maneuverability, the B-1B can easily be incorporated into mixed force packages. These features, along with the B-1B's large payload, superior radar targeting system, lengthy loiter time, and durability, make it an essential component of any joint or composite strike force. The synthetic aperture radar on the B-1B has self-targeting and terrain-following modes in addition to the ability to track, target, and engage moving targets. Additionally, a highly accurate inertial navigation system with assistance from the Global Positioning System enables aircrews to navigate without the aid of ground-based navigation aids and engage targets with great precision. Up until Link 16 is integrated on the aircraft, and the Combat Track 2 radios offer a secure reachback communication outside line of sight. The aircrew can employ Combat Track 2 to hit developing targets quickly and effectively in a time-sensitive targeting environment by using targeting information from the Combined Air Operations Center. Operations Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom were a successful example of this capability. And that ends our episode. We hope you enjoyed our video. Please subscribe and leave a comment down below your own thoughts, and don't forget to like today's video, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.